Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. So I used to struggle at around 600 ELO. For many months, I was just stuck at that rating on chess.com. And guess what? I just crossed 900 ELO on chess.com. And this is largely because I changed my opening. Often at my ELO rating, people start with E4 and I always used to respond with E5. And then I used to mess up because there are a lot of tricks involving, the weak F7 pawn and also gambits and all that stuff, tactical shit, which I am not really good in that. So what saved me was Caro-Kann defense. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. So ever since I started using Caro-Kann defense, my winning percentage as black has shot up. I used to be below 50% and now I'm winning close to 75% games. And I want to show a particular game that I played with an opponent who was over 1000 ELO rating and I took down this guy. So here I'm playing black and my opponent started as the typical e4 and I started with c6 and this guy brings his bishop here. Now this is something that I have noticed a lot. Most of the people who are at my ELO rating, so I would say from 600 onwards, a lot of people bring their bishop out because this is the normal move when you respond with e5. So suppose I had responded with e5, then this bishop move makes sense because then it will hit this pawn and you can get your queen out here, right, and attack this pawn. So this is the weak f7 pawn and you can go for scholar's mate. You can also try, you can get your knight here and then maybe hop the knight here, and that would be something like fried liver attack. So the reason I'm drawing all these arrows is because in Caro-Kann, this does not make any sense, but people just out of their habit, I guess, or maybe they are in autopilot and they're not thinking, they always get this bishop out, and I always laugh when this happens because obviously I'm going to play d5, and when I do that I hit the bishop and now the bishop looks stupid. So he takes my pawn, I take his pawn. Remember, this pawn is guarded by the queen, so now the bishop has to go back. So the bishop, he comes here. Now this is again, people are like, they double down on what they are doing, so they are not going to acknowledge that they fucked up. So they are like, hey, I will give you a check. But here if they give you a check, you can use your knight or you can use your bishop. I have run a stockfish analysis because this has happened so many times, so I wanted to make sure that I know what is the right move, and the right move actually is to bring your bishop out because your knight plays an important role covering these two squares. And in Caro-Kann defense, those two squares actually are important. Because I knew this already, so I played my bishop, he takes it, and I take it with my queen. So far so good. I am very happy, everything is going great. Remember guys, this guy, my opponent, is a 1000 plus opponent. And when I was playing this game, I was at around 820, 830. So this was a big deal for me. So now he develops his bishop, I get my bishop out, he brings his center pawn, so nothing special here. Now I get this guy out because I want to develop my bishop here, and this guy for some reason gets his pawn out. I guess he is worried that I will come here and give him a check, although this check does not make any sense because he can just push his pawn and kick my knight back, sorry, my bishop back, so it doesn't really make any sense. So I'm not sure why he is worried about that. Anyway, he's wasting his move. Now, funny enough, I waste my move, and there was a reason, guys, why I did that. I was afraid about this knight. Actually, I don't really care about his bishop. If he comes here, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But this knight, I'm really scared of knights, and I was worried that this knight would create some kind of, complications for me. I didn't want to have any complications, so I did this. I am pretty sure if I turn on the engine here, let me go back. So yeah, these are the top 3 engine moves. This is not one of those. So this is definitely a bad move. So right now, if I look at the score, it's minus 0.63. So I'm slightly winning. And after this move, yeah, my, it drops. So it goes to minus 0.36. So yeah, obviously this was not a good move. But that's okay. I'm no Hikaru. So he gets his knight out. Again, you might think like even Stockfish thinks this is a stupid move. But as soon as he got his knight out, I did not want his knight to come here. I was just like, I don't want to deal with this shit because there have been many games where, the knight comes here and then it just causes problems for me because it can jump here. So far I'm not winning. But let's keep watching because now I will show you why Caro-Kann, because it's such a solid opening, and especially if you are somebody like me who is scared of tactical, moves, all these tips and tricks that people use, gambits and all these tactical maneuvers, I always fall for those. I am not very good in tactics, so I get always screwed. So Caro-Kann basically protects me from falling for these bullshit that white might pull on me. So anyway, he castles and I'm preparing to castle. My goal is to castle on this side. So he gets his pawn here. Not sure why. Maybe he's worried about jumping, me jumping my knight here. and I get my knight out. So far everything is looking good. This guy comes here, he is putting pressure on this pawn. So what I did was, first I castled, which makes sense, right? I like to castle before move 10. Next my opponent moves his knight here, most likely he wants to come here. So I prevent that by bringing my queen here. In fact, it would have forked my queen and my rook. So I saw that, and now he pushes his pawn. And I again didn't want any of that shit, so I pushed my pawn. I think Stockfish is saying that's a stupid move. So if I turn on Stockfish, what is the recommendation? Wow, Stockfish wants me to pull my knight back. Not sure why, but I just used my head and I said, fuck you, I'm going to push my pawn. Now this guy, I guess he realizes his knight is looking stupid, so he brings it back to the center, and I get my rook here. Now again, Stockfish thinks I'm a moron, but the reason I'm doing this is because my goal eventually is to push this pawn forward. So I'm trying to get as much support, for this guy. Now he gets his bishop here. Not sure what he's trying to do. I push my pawn. So at this point of time, as you can see here, I've got 1 protection, 2 protection, 3 protection, and the queen is also protecting. So I've got 4 protection. And if you look at my opponent, he has 1, 2, 3 attackers. So I have 1 more defense, which means if you can do simple math, it does not make sense to capture this pawn, which is why I was surprised when this guy took my pawn. I was like, this guy is 1000 ELO, can't he do simple math? So I took it back, and I guess he still didn't realize that I had more defenders than his attackers. So he takes my knight. Stockfish says this is a blunder, which obviously it is, because I've got 1, 2 and 3 attackers on this. So I take it. This was the time when I was like, yes, because I'm like, okay, this is a 1000 ELO, opponent, and I think I have the upper hand now. So if I run the Stockfish analysis, you can see Stockfish is giving me 4.1. So that's a massive lead. Now this guy moves his rook here. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. And at this point of time, I noticed another thing. This was pure coincidence. I didn't calculate it, but I saw. And what I saw was that I have 2 attackers on his knight. And right now he has only 1 defender. So I was like, okay, this guy is still not, realizing that he's screwed. So I took his knight. And he takes my bishop, and I take his bishop. So at this point, I have got an extra knight. So that gives me 5.5, because Stockfish thinks my position is also better. So this guy, I guess he got mad, or I don't know what happened. He decides to take my rook. And this actually gives me this, access to this file, because now I have got my rook here in the E file. Next, he tried to intimidate my queen. And as soon as his rook came here, initially I was thinking maybe I should pull my queen back, maybe bring it here, or bring it all the way back here or here. That's what I was thinking. And I guess this is the problem with us low ELO players, because we are always thinking in terms of defensive mindset, until I realized, hey, why the hell am I thinking of moving my queen? I've got a counter attack. So you guys maybe pause the video and try to see if you guys can come up with the counter attack. It took me a few minutes, but I'm proud that I was able to find this in the game. So the counter attack is, forget about your queen. Look what's happening here. If I bring my rook here, I'm going to give him a check, and I'm also simultaneously attacking his queen. And remember, the rook will be guarded by my queen. So this is actually a fantastic move. So that's what I did, gave him a check. He cannot take my rook because he loses his queen. So he has to get his king out of the way. So he gets his king out of the way. And if you are thinking, well, if you take his queen, he's going to take your queen. But fortunately, I had this diagonal. So again, I didn't calculate all this, but maybe I got lucky. But I saw this tactic combined with this, this diagonal was open. So I was like, okay, so I will bring my queen back and get it out of danger. Also give him a check, and now his queen is toast. So he tried to block it with his pawn, but his queen is hanging. So I took his queen, and that's game over. My opponent resigned. So this was a very satisfying game, because like I said, right, I was around 825, 830, and this guy was 1000 plus, and I was able to take him down. So the bottom line is, guys, if you are someone like me who is not very good with tactics and who struggles with opening, my recommendation is to pick one opening and then just study that opening and try to get really good with that opening. So for me personally, Karo-Kann defense has worked great, and from 600 now I have crossed 900. So that is a fantastic improvement. Few months back I was like, I don't even know if I will ever cross 1000, but now I feel way more confident, and I guess I will be able to hit my 1000 ELO goal that I set up at the beginning of the year. So the bottom line is Karo-Kann kicks ass, and I love Karo-Kann. So let me know, guys, what do you think of Karo-Kann? What do you think of this match? Did you find any blunders that I committed, or if there was any better move? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video, and why don't you guys click over here and watch this video next.